Want to see a close-up of my jack hole? It's super clean, my new jack hole. It's upside down.
It is. It's an upside down V.
Oh, it's cornstar.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Dun dun dun. There we have our $200 Flying V. Pretty light. There's some fancy tuning keys. What's up with that?
Are they a Rover?
At least it doesn't have a fake made in the USA on it.
There you go. Alright, so I'm here with my brother Vic Hucklebuck. He bought a guitar off of Temu. Got a bunch of little prizes with it too. And we have the suspicion that it might be just a repurposed Chibson because of the sticker up here. So he's going to peel it on off and see what it says under there. Doesn't say anything.
Even better.
Nice.
Perfect.
Ooh, it's hot. So here it is, the Temu V. We assumed this would be an overstock Chibson, but maybe they just didn't label it for legal reasons. Overall, feels awesome in your hands. The neck and the frets feel great. The balance is like perfect on it. Sounds terrible though. So I'm going to do some mods on it. And not just part swapping, parts out on it, but actual mods like carving into the sucker. So let's get a closer look and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Now, I've never been a fan of a jack on the face of a guitar. In my first big mod, I'm going to move the jack to the back of the guitar. That might sound crazy, but I have a good idea how to make it look natural. My second mod will be to add a third pickup in here, and I want to wire it like a Black Beauty. Now, both of these pickups are junk. They're very bright and tinny sounding, so I'm replacing all of them with a fresh set of Wilkinsons. Should sound great. By moving the jack to the back, I'll be left with a hole down here. I'm hoping to maybe carve a new pickguard or find something to cover that. Maybe a challenge coin or kill switch. So I've got to strip it down, see what I'm working with underneath this pickguard. So let's do it. I'm going to desolder the jack and the pickups and just get the whole thing out of here so I can do what I need to do. But it's good I can kind of see what I have here. I am going to have to route for the third humbucker. And I think there's a lot more meat back here than I thought there would be. So, yeah, that's going to work out pretty good. For my back jack. Put a little flux on these to make the solder flow a little better. You know, overall, this isn't a bad soldering job either. We can just leave the ground in there. Okay, so I talked to the owner and he wants the jack on the back, new humbuckers, and a new pickguard to cover the old jack hole. He also wants it wired with 3 volumes and no switch. I talked him into adding a tone, so it'll be 3 volumes, 1 tone to rule them all. Now this spaghetti here says it works just fine with no interference. That's cool. The third pickup in the middle is going to be one of these Epiphone Firebird pickups. It's like a mini humbucker. Should be a nice warm sound, and it's already in the gold. So I'm going to order up what I need and then come back to this. Alright, I got some parts in. Got my Wilkinson pickups. Got my Guyker knobs. Got my Fender jack plate here. Probably going to get mounted somewhere around in here, on the back of course. And if you plug in a wireless, I don't want it to be sticking out the sides or showing. Also got a piece of 3-ply in here for the pickguard. Now carving for the new jack makes me really nervous, so I'm going to go for an easy win first. While I am installing a smaller pickup here, I'm just going to go ahead and carve out for a regular humbucker. Partly because I have that template here, but also in case he wants a humbucker in the future. For the input jack, he requested it be recessed, which requires a little bit of accuracy. If I was only top mounting the jack, I could just route out the basic egg shape with a template, screw it in. But being recessed and flush with the body, I'll need to mount it up in my CNC router. Not looking forward to that. So I may have to ditch that idea and just top mount it like it's designed. Another problem I'm going to run into on the front is the size of the pickguard. The blanks I get are not really big enough to carve it in one piece. I could, but it'd be real close to the edge and I'd have no wiggle room. So my plan is to carve my own trim ring for the middle. And I'll base the screw holes on a humbucker trim ring too, in case, you know, we just want to switch over to a humbucker in the future. So let me route out for that humbucker and move forward. Well, let's talk routers since I have to carve this by hand. I very rarely do these carves if I can help it. I let the CNC do the work. Keep my hands the hell away from it. Quite frankly, I'm afraid of routers. I'll tell you why in a minute. Now I have 2 finished routers. One is mounted to my CNC back there. It's a DeWalt. It's a workhorse. I've put so many hours onto this machine, I must have changed the brushes on that one at least a dozen times over the years. However, it would be a pain to pull it out of that gantry. And it's all wired through that chain loom, so that's where it lives. My second-hand router is this piece of crap. I got this at Harbor Freight a few years ago. And let me tell you, it's dangerous. It's scarier than a Karen approaching a customer service desk. I've never gotten a decent cut out of it. It has 1 speed, fast. The cheap-ass guide slips like a deer on ice. It's awful. The switch can come on like way too easily too. Just like that, you know. On the DeWalt, you really have to, you know, turn it on like you mean it. So if you have one of these, I recommend throwing it in the garbage where it belongs. Or if you must keep it, unplug it before changing bits, or if you're not using it. Definitely don't ever buy one of these, because like they still sell them for like 20 bucks. So I had enough of that, and I'm cutting its power cord and throwing it away. But I did the right thing, went back to Harbor Freight and bought a new router. This one is a Bauer though. They're actually a decent tool line. If you're not using their tools every day, you'll get a lot out of them. I bought a Bauer vacuum a few years back. Works 1,000 times better than any modern shop vac, and it's more sturdy too. Now with my fear of routers, it's funny that my most useful and expensive tool I've ever gotten or worked with is this router. I went to a tech high school like 100 years ago. I was in plumbing shop. You know, hot's on the left, cold's on the right, shit runs downhill. And a friend of mine was in carpentry shop. Mid-morning, the culinary shop would deliver pizza or baked goods for like our 10 a.m. break. And my friend was enjoying his pizza while leaning against the router table. And these were high-end commercial machines, not your home workshop kind. They ran super quiet, and he put his finger kind of near the router hole, not realizing it was left on, and lost most of his finger. So yeah, that sucked. So I have a healthy fear of power tools ever since. Even though I didn't witness it, kind of stuck with me. But you should never get too comfortable with any of these machines. When you get too relaxed is when you get bit. so I'm hoping to avoid that. So safety glasses and some gloves for this one. Okay, this wood is insanely hard and it's stinky. It smells like pee, like beer whiz. Anybody know what kind of wood that could be? It kind of looks like mahogany. At least it has that type of graining. Anyway, I got through the humbucker carve without issues, but the router kept grabbing on the wood, and that kind of sucked. So to do the jack, I mounted it here on my CNC router using this convoluted jig hanging out the front onto a sawhorse table, supported by some towels wrapped in contact paper down here. And it's in there pretty tight. It took about 45 minutes going in 0.5 millimeter per pass. My program recommended 1.5 millimeters, and but that kind of made me nervous. Anyway, came out perfectly. The jack fits right in there, really nice. I can peel off this contact paper and paint up the bare wood. So excellent, proceeding. Want to see a close-up of my jack hole? Super clean, my new jack hole. I did go a hair too deep on my recessed portion here, so I added a layer of oak cabinet veneer on the recess. It's the kind you iron on to activate the glue, and it's thin enough to like carve out with the X-Acto when it's on there. That puts the jack pretty flush with the body. Sweet. Also used the paint pen refurb to clean up the edges. The shape itself is pretty much near perfect. Put it right on in there. Fits nice. Even managed to land one edge of it like on the electronics cavity, so I don't have to drill a hole, to pass wires through. I think I can breathe a little easier now with all that one-shot carving done. I can move on to the pickguard. Gotcha. Alright, I've got the pickguard and the trim ring carved. They both look a little rough right now because I haven't peeled off all the plastic, but they're going to look just fine. I went with the black, white, black, like an Oreo for the pickguard. Gives it some extra white pinstripes to kind of complement the binding. I did, however, do solid black acrylic for the trim ring to avoid too many stripes. Both of them fit perfectly. The back jack also came out awesome, and I can't take total credit for the placement. I've always wanted to build a V and move the jack somewhere else and use a strat jack so it's recessed. My idea was to kind of put it on the side, like right here, or right down here, so it's kind of out of your way. The owner of this one sent me a pic of I think it was a Solar guitar with the jack on the back. So that pic kind of set this location in motion, and they even used a strat jack in the picture I saw. So everything is cut. I suppose I can wire these up. I got a couple of other add-ons I want to do that should take it over the top. Really happy so far. Okay, this end is all set. I can tell you it's a fingerprint and dust magnet, but everything works just fine. Kind of weird without a switch, not gonna lie. Those Wilkinsons look great with the mini humbucker, and I have 2 more things to do before I string it up. 1, I got some cool knobs for it, and 2, I want to put a decal on it. Now the wrong thing to do would be to decal this with a Gibson logo, but nothing says I can't put dude's name on there. So I got these from guitardecadence.com on another project, and I always order 2 in case I mess one up. So I just need to trim this up, soak it in some water, slide it on. Then I can hit it with a coat of clear to seal it on there. Then all that's left is the strings.
We live? Yep. All right, thanks, man. Ready? Chris?
Yep. So there it is, modding a Temu V. The quality of this guitar isn't great per se, but it looks the part. Plays fine too. He wouldn't have put the cash into the mods if it wasn't comfortable to hold and fret, you know. It's definitely the oddest mod I've made. This back jack is money though. Couldn't ask for a better fit. When he first told me he was getting a guitar off Temu, I assumed he wouldn't actually receive a real guitar. I figured it'd be one of those paper jams or something for the price he paid, but here it is, along with a Les Paul case, a guitar pedal, and a wok. Now, my kids and I use Temu as the butt of a joke, usually involving pro wrestling. Like, look at Temu Stone Cold Austin here. That guy's the Temu version of The Undertaker. And we have The Rock at home. That's kind of what this is. It's literally the Temu version of itself. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. Now get out there and mod something. Give me a thumbs up for filming it for you. And we'll talk again soon.